Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the very first episode of the original Dragon Ball anime. That's right, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Episode 1, which is titled The Secret of the Dragon Balls. This episode first aired on February 26, 1986, and was watched by nearly 34 million viewers. And if you want to watch this episode today, you can actually do so on Crunchyroll, Hulu, or Funimation. So without further ado, let's get started. As the episode begins, we're immediately introduced to our two main protagonists of the entire Dragon Ball franchise. The first of these is Son Goku. We'll later learn that his name is actually Kakarot, but for all intents and purposes, his name is Goku and Goku alone. In this episode, Goku is shown as a strong young boy with a monkey tail who lives completely alone in the mountains. The way that he survives is by catching fish and using his incredible strength to move boulders out of the way to grow rice. For Goku, life has always been pretty lonely. He doesn't have any parents, and he lives with the memory of his adoptive grandfather, Gohan, who passed away not too long ago. Even still, Goku is a happy-go-lucky kid who lives his life blissfully unaware of anything too complicated going on around him. It's a bit of a shock when suddenly a motorized vehicle smashes through some trees and lands just feet away from him. But Goku isn't hurt at all, much to the shock of the girl behind the wheel. This girl is Bulma, a teenage inventor who has left home to search for the legendary Dragon Balls. Bulma is the second protagonist of the series, and honestly, I don't think the series would be where it is today without her. She's the one who sets everything in motion by looking for the Dragon Balls. And it's because of her that Goku meets Krillin, Yamcha, Master Roshi, and pretty much every other major character in the series. Anyway, Bulma is shocked that Goku isn't dead after crashing into him, and is even more shocked when he's unharmed by her bullets. But as time passes, she starts to figure out that he's just a peculiar boy who's never really seen a human before. Eventually, Goku returns the favor and asks Bulma if he can take a look at her vehicle, which she allows. And it's here that Goku finds one of the Dragon Balls that Bulma is looking for. Bulma explains to Goku that there are 7 mystical orbs scattered across the earth, and when all 7 are brought together, they summon the eternal dragon, Shenron, who will grant any single wish. Bulma's wish is for a perfect boyfriend, although she admits that what she really wants is for her father to stop working so much. Unfortunately for Bulma, she only has 2 of the Dragon Balls and needs Goku's 4-star one. She offers to trade Goku her 3-star Dragon Ball for his 4-star one, but Goku refuses at first. You see, the Dragon Ball is all that's left of his grandfather, Gohan, who passed away not too long before the episode began. Goku's grandfather had given him the Dragon Ball before passing away and told him that one day it would come in handy. As Goku tells Bulma this, we get a flashback showing us how Gohan took care of Goku when he was just a baby. Although Gohan was unable to keep Goku forever, he did everything in his power to make sure that Goku was taken care of. All of this is enough to convince Goku to not part ways with the Dragon Ball. But after hearing that Bulma is looking for someone else who owns a Dragon Ball, Goku changes his mind. He simply can't resist the idea of an adventure, and he wants to see what else is out there. Goku and Bulma head off on their search for the remaining Dragon Balls, although Goku only goes after Bulma promises to return the Dragon Ball after they're done searching. Their journey takes them past a river, and Bulma decides to use her car to cross it. However, she quickly loses control of the vehicle, and it begins to sink. Goku instantly jumps into action and uses his super strength to save Bulma and the car. Once the two are safe on the shore, Bulma once again apologizes and mentions that she'll return the Dragon Ball to Goku once they finish their search. In a kind of funny side quest, Goku and Bulma then decide to hunt down the creature who attacked Bulma's car, which ends up being a giant flying dinosaur. As Bulma looks for higher ground, Goku grabs his trusty weapon, the power pole, and flies up into the air to confront the monster. The Power Pole is a magical staff that Goku carries with him at all times. Its exact origins are unknown, but we know that it's capable of great things like helping Goku fly through the air. After striking the dinosaur a few times, Goku finishes the battle with his signature Kamehameha attack. With the threat defeated, Goku and Bulma continue on their way, and this is where we finally meet the last major character of this episode, Emperor Pilaf. Emperor Pilaf is the main antagonist of this episode and is another person searching for the Dragon Balls. Specifically, Pilaf is looking for the Dragon Balls so that he can use them to take over the world. He rules over his small army with an iron fist, barking orders at his two henchmen, Mai and Shu. Pilaf and his men are currently on their way to find one of the Dragon Balls, but are forced to wait when their plane runs out of gas. Shu suggests that they head out in search of food, but Mai stops him and says that they should stay put for now. After all, they're in a remote area, so it could take a while for anyone to find them. Pilaf agrees with this and settles down on a nearby rock. From here, we see Pilaf reminisce about the time that he previously summoned Shenron. We get a flashback showing us Pilaf summoning Shenron with 5 Dragon Balls, but being unable to fully take over the world because he didn't have all 7. Shenron tells Pilaf that if he gathers all 7 Dragon Balls, he'll be able to take over the world. And this is exactly what Pilaf plans to do. As he looks up towards the sky, Pilaf vows to become the ruler of the universe. Back with Goku and Bulma, the two decide to head towards a nearby town in search of more clues about the Dragon Balls. Along the way, though, Bulma is kidnapped by a group of bandits. Goku tries to save her, but she tells him to go home and get the Dragon Ball. Heartbroken, Goku flies away. Meanwhile, Bulma is taken to a cave where she is locked up with several other girls, but Goku soon arrives to save the day. He fights off the bandits and reunites with Bulma. Afterwards, the two continue on their journey and set up camp for the night. Before going to sleep, Bulma gives Goku the 3-star Dragon Ball, and they agree to meet back here the following morning. As Goku drifts off to sleep, we see the episode end. Overall, I'd say that this was a fantastic introduction to the Dragon Ball franchise. We were introduced to 2 amazing characters in Goku and Bulma, and we got a good idea of what the series is going to be about. I can't believe that this episode came out in 1986, because watching it, it definitely didn't feel like it. If you've never watched Dragon Ball before, I highly recommend checking it out. With that said, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope you all enjoyed this retrospective look at Dragon Ball Episode 1. If you did, please leave me a like and a comment down below. Also, if you're interested in watching Dragon Ball, let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'll do some more retrospectives in the future. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball video. Today we're going to be doing a full recap of the 2nd episode of the original Dragon Ball series. For those of you who are new here, I'll be doing full recaps and reviews of the Dragon Ball series, so make sure to like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. So let's not waste any time and get right into the recap. The episode starts out with Goku and Bulma walking down a path late at night. They decide to set up camp for the night and go to bed. Bulma pulls out one of her dino caps, which is essentially a capsule that, when opened, will unfurl into a huge object. This time, she opens one of the capsules that unfurls into a mattress. Then she opens up another capsule that unfurls into a huge mansion. It's quite the amazing piece of technology. Inside the house, there are tons of cool things. For example, a television, a stereo, a record player, and even a bathtub. And since Goku has never taken a bath before, Bulma decides to show him how. So she fills up the tub and gets in while Goku looks around in amazement. Then after a bit, she tells Goku to take off his clothes and get in the bath. And this is when she notices something weird attached to his rear end. She asks him what the strange thing is, but he says he doesn't know. He just always had it. She grabs it and pulls it, thinking it's an accessory of some sort. But it turns out it's actually his tail. And this freaks Bulma out, so she runs away from the bathroom. The next day, Goku goes outside and sees that Bulma isn't anywhere to be found. He calls out to her and she comes out holding a frying pan, thinking that Goku might hurt her while she's in her underwear. He was actually just stretching and didn't see her. But she seems pretty paranoid, so they decide to leave and start heading down the path again. Meanwhile, somewhere else, we're introduced to the main villain of this arc, Emperor Pilaf. He's sitting in a chair while two of his henchmen, Mai and Shu, come in front of him and kneel. Shu tells the Emperor that they haven't found the Dragon Balls yet, so the Emperor says that they should keep looking with the Dragon Radar that Mai is holding. He says that once he gets all 7 balls, he'll wish for world domination, and no one will stop him. As Goku and Bulma continue down the path, Goku gets hungry, so he decides to go hunt for food. He spots some rabbits and sneaks up behind them, but they notice him and run away. As he chases them, he accidentally breaks through a wall and lands inside a huge underground facility. Meanwhile, Bulma has continued on alone, and she hears the sound of an airplane. She hides behind some bushes and sees Mai and Shu flying past her in their plane. Bulma follows them, but they fly too fast for her to catch up. So she goes back to where Goku is and waits for him. Goku comes back empty-handed, saying that he couldn't catch any rabbits. Just then, Bulma tells Goku about the airplane she saw and says that it might have something to do with the Dragon Balls. Suddenly, a couple of wolves appear and surround Goku. They growl at him, and he prepares to fight. Bulma, hiding behind a rock, watches in fear as the wolves attack Goku. But Goku seems unfazed. He quickly defeats the wolves and kills one of them, bringing it back with him to the path where Bulma is waiting. Bulma is disgusted by this and tells Goku that he can eat the wolf if he wants, but she doesn't want anything to do with it. They start walking again, and this time Goku carries the wolf with him on his back. Not long after, they hear the sound of an airplane again, and this time Goku takes action. He jumps into the air and knocks the plane out of the sky. It crashes into the ground and smoke starts coming out of it. Goku walks over to the smoking hole and looks inside. We see that Mai and Shu are both unconscious. Goku picks them up and brings them out of the plane. It turns out that these two were searching for the Dragon Balls as well, and Shu tells Goku that they won't hurt him if he lets them go. Goku doesn't understand why they would want to hurt him, though, and he doesn't listen. He ties them up and throws them in the back of his car, then drives off. Not long after, the two prisoners tell Goku that they're going to escape, but he just laughs and says that there's no way they can do that. He drops them off at the nearest city and tells them to stay put. He says that he'll be back for them tomorrow. Then the episode switches to the next day, and we see that Goku is now walking alongside Bulma, who's riding her motorcycle. They've been traveling together for a while now, and they're both heading towards the sea. Not long after, they hear the sound of crying, and they go over to see what it is. They find a giant turtle stuck in a hole. The turtle says that he's lost and doesn't know how to get back to the sea. Goku tells him that he'll help him get back, and the two of them walk over to the hole. Goku tells Bulma to get on the back of the turtle, and the three of them head over to the nearest body of water. Bulma was hoping to leave the turtle behind, but Goku says that she can't leave him there, so she reluctantly agrees. As they walk further along, the turtle begins to cry again, saying that he wants to go home. As the trio walks along, Bulma thinks to herself that having Goku with them might be good because he's strong, but also bad because he's too nice. She says that they're depending on him, but they don't know how far he'll go. Not long after, they see a group of children throwing rocks at a man. The man is obviously the turtle, and the kids are taunting him, calling him slow. Goku gets angry and picks the biggest kid up, then throws him over his shoulder. The kid begs for mercy, but Goku is relentless. He says that he'll take the kid home, but only if he promises to never mess with the turtle again. The kid agrees, and Goku lets him go. The group of kids cheers for Goku, and the turtle thanks him. He says that Goku is the first person to ever stand up for him. Not long after, they finally reach the sea. The turtle happily swims away, and Goku and Bulma watch him go. Bulma thanks Goku for helping her, and says that she'd like to have someone like him around when they find the Dragon Balls. She says that the journey to find the Dragon Balls will be more dangerous than she thought. But Goku says that he's not afraid. The episode ends with them standing on the beach, and Goku says that he's gonna go look for Master Roshi. And this is where we'll pick up next time in episode 3. And that's gonna do it for this episode. Next time we'll be recapping episode 3, titled Goku and Turtle Hermit. I hope you enjoyed this recap of episode 2. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. If you liked this video, you should check out my other Dragon Ball content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. First up, we're going to be looking at the original Dragon Ball Episode 3, The Nimbus Cloud of Roshi. Then afterwards, we'll be doing a recap for the recently released series Dragon Ball Daima. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we pick up this episode with Goku, Bulma, and the Talking Turtle still on their way to the sea. To get there, they have to walk past a cave, and right as they reach it, a bear thief pops out trying to steal the turtle. Goku stops him in his tracks by easily tossing him around like a rag doll. Then after he does that, the episode title card appears. Once the two are outside, Goku points out that the bear thief didn't have anything to eat, so he invites him to come over to their camp to have some food. But the bear thief refuses, claiming that he doesn't eat with dirty commoners. Once he says this, he runs off and Goku decides he wants to follow him to see where he lives. As they make their way up the mountain, Goku asks the talking turtle if he knows where the bear thief lives, but he claims to have no idea. Eventually, they reach the top and see a little hut. Goku decides to hide and watch to see what the bear thief does. Meanwhile, inside the hut, the bear thief takes out a big old book and starts reading it. It's clear that this guy is very intelligent, far from a simple thug. He then opens up a trap door and goes down into the basement, where we see that he has quite a few companions. Back outside, Goku sees the bear thief open up a window to let some fresh air in, and he quickly hides when he looks out. Then Goku uses his super hearing ability to listen in and hears that they are planning to steal from someone named Master Roshi, who apparently has a Dragon Ball. Goku finds this out and becomes enraged because Master Roshi is friends with the turtle, so Goku sneaks in through a window and scares the crap out of everyone inside. He then goes over to the bear thief and asks him who Master Roshi is, but he simply responds by calling him a hermit. Goku does not accept this answer and keeps on berating the bear thief until he finally tells him that Master Roshi is a hermit who lives by the sea. Goku then says that he knows where he lives and decides to take the bear thief with him to show him. On the way, Goku notices that the bear thief seems to be in bad shape, so he invites him to come ride on his back. Eventually, they reach the coast and Goku tells the bear thief that Master Roshi should be here somewhere. Suddenly, a huge wave comes crashing towards them, and Goku panics because he doesn't know how to swim. Fortunately, the talking turtle shows up and tells them to hop on his back. When they're all safe, the turtle thanks Goku for bringing the bear thief to him, explaining that the bear thief was actually his student, but he ran away because he was going to be taken away from his master to be sold to someone else. The turtle also apologizes for not being able to protect his student and mentions that Goku reminds him of a young Bruce Lee. After this, he sends Goku and Bulma back home, promising that he'll bring them a gift once he's done talking to his student. Later that day, Goku and Bulma are waiting on the beach for the turtle to return. Suddenly, they hear a booming voice in the sky and look up to see a giant turtle flying overhead. Turns out the turtle had developed the ability to fly, allowing him to become the legendary master, the Turtle Hermit. He then drops off Goku and Bulma, saying that they can call him Master Roshi, and explains that he's heard about the Dragon Balls. Then Master Roshi reveals that he has a Dragon Ball and gifts it to Bulma. Afterwards, Goku asks him if he can do something cool, and Master Roshi obliges by showing him the flying Nimbus. It's a magical cloud that can only be ridden by someone who is pure of heart. Goku immediately hops on and rides it around with ease. Bulma tries to do the same, but she falls right through the cloud. She tries again, but the same thing happens. She tries a third time and finally gets on, only to fall again almost immediately. Just as she's about to try again, Master Roshi tells her that he wants to see her underwear in exchange for the flying Nimbus. Bulma declines this offer, but he persists and even offers her a different Dragon Ball in exchange. Bulma reluctantly agrees, but she's hiding behind the rock and can't really see, so Goku comes over and helps her out by pulling down her pants. While he's doing this, though, she tells him that she's not wearing any. Goku is confused by this, but before he can ask any questions, she kicks him in the face and runs off. Then she comes back with Master Roshi's Dragon Ball in hand and announces that she has exactly what he asked for. But when she pulls down her pants, it turns out she wasn't wearing any. She then reveals that she took Goku's earlier when she was bathing in the previous episode. Master Roshi is stunned by this, and Goku is left confused, wondering why they were playing this weird game. Bulma then leaves, having successfully gotten the Dragon Ball she wanted. Later that day, Emperor Pilaf and his minions are walking through the forest, and they run into Master Roshi. One of his minions asks him if he saw a girl with long brown hair, but he said he hasn't. Pilaf then reveals that he wants to steal Master Roshi's Dragon Ball, but he's worried that the Turtle Hermit might beat them up. This doesn't end up happening, though, because Pilaf ends up tripping over a rock and getting knocked out. His minions try to wake him up, but he stays asleep, so they're forced to leave without the Dragon Ball. This episode is definitely a landmark moment for the original Dragon Ball series. Not only did we get introduced to the great Master Roshi, but we also got introduced to the Flying Nimbus. Also, Bulma got another Dragon Ball added to her collection. I think she now has 2. We also got a pretty good display of Goku's power, and we also got a pretty funny exchange between Goku and Bulma. Overall, it was a great episode. Now let's move on to the recap for Dragon Ball Daima Episode 3, Daima. We pick up the episode with Goku, a Kaioshin, and the mysterious Glorio still traveling through space to the Demon Realm. They're currently flying past some clouds, and Goku asks how much longer it'll be until they reach their destination. Kaioshin replies that they'll be arriving at a relay point soon, and that there are 3 parts to the Demon Realm, the first of which they won't be able to access. The trio then flies straight through a huge, scary-looking fish. This turns out to be their transport to the relay point, a gigantic structure floating in space. It's implied that the fish they rode in on is actually called a warp. They then head over to a computer room and learn that the only way to reach the one who turned them into children is to go to the 3rd demon world. The problem is that the 3rd demon world is extremely harsh and acidic, like a volcano. Glorio states that he has clearance to the 3rd demon world and puts in the coordinates. The warp then begins to move, meaning that they're on their way to their destination. During the trip, Goku struggles to breathe because the air is so thick. This causes him to feel sluggish and heavy, even though he's a Super Saiyan. Kyojin teases him, stating that it must suck to have your powers sealed away and be this weak. Goku becomes outraged by this and starts trying to attack Kyojin. In the middle of this, though, Goku feels a massive amount of gas building up inside of him, and he lets it rip. It's played for both a comedic moment and a way to show that despite his power being sealed away, he's still incredibly dangerous. Kyoshin backs away, clearly intimidated by this sudden display of power. Later on, when they're all hanging out inside the ship, Goku lets out another fart. This time it's played more for a comedic moment, but it's still pretty surprising given that Goku is a Super Saiyan. Eventually, the warp arrives at the 3rd demon world, and they set out to find the one responsible for turning them into children. As they make their way through the volcanic landscape, they come across a dark and seedy-looking town. Goku becomes excited because he's never seen a place like this before. When they walk past a nearby bar, Goku's round ears catch the attention of some monsters inside. They become agitated by this and decide to go outside to confront them. Meanwhile, Glorio becomes pissed off that Goku went outside without asking him first. Despite this, the three of them head over to the bar, and Goku sits down to order a burger. As the episode comes to a close, we see that the monsters from earlier are sneaking around outside of the bar. Their plan is to steal Glorio's ship so they can take it back to their master. They eventually succeed and drive the ship away, leaving Goku, Kyoshin, and Glorio stranded. And that's the end of Episode 3 for both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Daima. If you liked these recaps, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future Dragon Ball content. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Welcome back. It's time to look at Episode 4 of Dragon Ball. But before we do that, I wanted to say thank you all for the support. We are getting ever so close to a milestone. In this episode, we're going to meet another character that will be a recurring part of Goku's early adventures and someone that provides some hilarious comedy throughout the series. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get started. We open up this episode with Goku and Bulma arriving at the village of Aru. Now when they arrive, everything looks fine on the outside, but they quickly notice that no one is really around. The only person they can find is the village priest, who tells them that something terrible has happened. Apparently, a shape-shifting monster has been kidnapping all the village daughters, and if this continues, there won't be anyone left to perform the sacred ritual to bring rain to their crops, meaning they will die of starvation. The only way to stop this monster is to defeat him, but no one is strong enough to do that. That is until Goku came along. The priest offers to give them a Dragon Ball if they can stop this monster. So of course they accept the offer and set off to find this monster. Now apparently this monster has just left after kidnapping another girl. So Goku and Bulma split up to try and find him. Goku decides to take a shortcut through the forest. And while he's walking through there, he finds a clearing with a bunch of clothes scattered around. Then he hears some bushes rustling. Thinking that this must be the monster, Goku rushes over and grabs the closest thing he sees, which happens to be a pink dress. As he comes out of the bushes, he scares away a very small creature that was watching him. But Goku mistakes this little guy for being the monster and tries to attack him. This causes the little guy to run off crying. Soon after, Bulma finds Goku and questions why he's wearing a dress. He explains what happened and she tells him that those clothes belong to the girls that were kidnapped. Then they both hear some footsteps and see a young girl running towards them. When Goku asks her what's going on, she explains that the monster has returned to kidnap her. Before Goku could do anything, though, the monster suddenly appears behind him and tries to abduct the girl. But Goku grabs onto her and turns around just in time to see the monster transforming into a big, scary lion. The lion charges at Goku, but he simply grabs onto its tail and rides it like a horse. Goku tries to reason with the lion, telling him that he doesn't want to hurt him and that they should be friends instead. But the lion isn't interested in that and tries to shake him off. While this is happening, Bulma flies in on her cloud and shoots some energy blasts at the lion. This causes the lion to panic, and he runs off with Goku still on his tail. They chase the lion through the forest for a bit until finally Goku gets tired and lets go, falling down to the ground. As he lays there, he notices that the sky has started to clear up, meaning that the monster must have brought rain to the village. Suddenly the lion reappears, but this time he's reverted back to his human form. Goku asks him what he did to the other girls, but he simply responds by asking what they should do now that it's not raining. Goku says that he should probably give the girls back, to which the man responds by saying that he already did that. Turns out the man was lying, but Goku didn't know that. So he asked if he could show him where the girls were. The man accepted, and they soon arrived at his luxurious mansion. As they walked inside, we can see that all the girls that were kidnapped were there, and they weren't exactly scared or upset. In fact, they looked very happy and relaxed. Goku couldn't understand why, since this guy was obviously a monster. But then he noticed something weird about the man. His backside looked exactly like that of a pig. Thinking nothing of it, Goku decided to investigate further. He snuck into the man's bedroom, but what he saw shocked him. The man was a small, fat pig. Goku freaks out, thinking that this means the monster is actually a magical pig, but then the pig speaks. Turns out he wasn't a monster at all. He was just an ordinary pig who had taken these girls hostage because he was lonely. He only appeared as other people because he was ashamed of how ugly he looked. He was so embarrassed that he even built a whole mansion just so he could hide. Goku decides to forgive him since he didn't seem like a bad guy, and he invites him to come live with him and Bulma. Of course, the pig accepts, and from now on, he will go by the name Oolong. After spending some time with Goku and Bulma, the villagers arrive, demanding that Oolong gives them back the Dragon Ball. Goku stops them, though, explaining that Oolong didn't take the Dragon Ball willingly. Instead, it was handed over to him as a gift. The villagers apologize for their rude behavior, and after they leave, Goku gives the 6-star Dragon Ball to Bulma so she can add it to her collection. Oolong was pretty sad that they didn't want him anymore, but Bulma comforts him by promising that she will ride him whenever she needs to go somewhere, since she still can't ride the flying Nimbus. Oolong happily accepts, and in the end, he even gives them a ride in his own car. And with that, the episode comes to an end. Now let's move on to Dragon Ball Daima Episode 4. This episode is titled Chatty. If you remember in the previous episode, Goku, Glorio, and Supreme Kai were all turned into kids, and then they crashed, landed in the demon realm. They spent the beginning of the episode searching for food, and after failing to find any, they continued on to search for their plane. During this time, we learned that flying is extremely difficult in this realm because of the thick atmosphere, so they would only be able to fly short distances before needing to rest. After walking for a while longer, they come across a shop, and inside they find a man who seems to know a lot about the demon realm. He explains that their plane most likely crashed in the middle of the ocean, but he also explains that they might be able to fix their situation with special items called Medibugs. These are basically insects that, when eaten, give you different effects. There was one in particular called the Hoverfly that allowed the user to fly for a short period of time. Unfortunately, they were out of stock, but the man did give them some free samples of other ones. There was the Jelly Bean Long that restored HP and the Tornado Launcher that allowed the user to spit out a beam of compressed air. They continued on for a while longer until they came across a lake. To cross it, they used the Sky Seed, a one-time use plant that shot them across the water. Unfortunately, Goku's seed didn't fully charge, so they ended up crash landing on the other side. Once they got up, they saw that they had arrived in a village, and it did not take long for them to realize that this place was under the control of Goma's military police, known as the Gendarmerie. It was ruled by a tyrant who took advantage of the citizens and sentenced anyone who couldn't pay their taxes to death. While walking through the village, they saw a man being punished for stealing food. He had to give 3 years of his life force for every gold coin he couldn't pay. Goku was furious, but Supreme Kai stopped him, explaining that they had to tread carefully if they didn't want to attract any attention. Just then, the man that gave them the seeds appeared. He explained that he had witnessed what happened to the man and told them that there was nothing they could do to stop it. But Goku still wanted to help. So as the gendarme approached them, Goku stepped in front of the man and easily defeated them with his power pole. Supreme Kai was amazed by this, but warned Goku that they had to keep moving. They fled the village with the gendarme hot on their tails. But just as they were about to corner Goku and the others, a mysterious figure appeared and tried to save them with a wasabi bomb. Unfortunately, it failed, and the figure was knocked out. Goku and the others ran away, but the figure followed them and revealed that she was a young demon girl. She explained that she lived in these lands and wanted to help them. She apologized for failing to defeat the Gendarmerie, but Goku reassured her that it was all right. They thanked her for trying to help and promised that they would soon be leaving this realm. With that, the episode comes to an end. And with that, we have recapped Episode 4 of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. Honestly, I love episodes like this. It's lighthearted, adventurous, and fun. And with Dragon Ball Super being so serious, it's nice to look back and see how the series began. Next week, we'll be recapping Episode 5, so be sure to look out for that. Until then, I'll see you all next time. It's time to take a look at two different Dragon Balls Episode 5. That's right. Today, we're diving back into the world of Dragon Balls. Two different versions, two different episodes, both titled Episode 5. How fun is that? So first up, we have original Dragon Ball Episode 5, Yamcha the Desert Bandit. And let me tell you, this episode is a game changer for the series. This is where things get serious. So picture this. Goku, Bulma, and their new buddy Oolong are trekking through the Diablo Desert. It's hot, it's dusty, and Bulma's car is running on fumes. Suddenly, bam, out of nowhere, their car breaks down. No gas, stranded in the middle of nowhere. Just great. As they start to make camp for the night, Goku is like, "Hey, let's just head over to that hill. It'll be nice and flat to sleep there." But no sooner than they set up, bam, ambush! These three masked figures jump out and surround them. And wouldn't you know it, they're led by none other than Yamcha, the desert bandit himself. Now, if you haven't met Yamcha yet, let me clue you in. This guy is not your average Joe. He's a hardcore martial artist with some serious skills. And let me tell you, he's got a face only a mother could love. Seriously, his appearance alone is enough to scare off most people. No wonder he's known as the terrifying bandit of the Diablo Desert. And if that wasn't enough, he's got this weird thing about him. You know, he's scared of women. Yeah, seriously, he's terrified of them. Even the sight of Bulma makes him break out in cold sweats. Talk about a phobia. Anyway, these desert kings have been terrorizing travelers and stealing their stuff, and they've got their sights set on Goku's crew. Yamcha's sidekick, Puar, transforms into a whip and attacks, but Goku catches it like it's no big deal. Then Goku takes out the other two bandits pretty easily. Now it's just him and Yamcha, and the two of them are sizing each other up. This is the first time we see Goku go toe-to-toe with a real martial arts fighter. No holding back. Yamcha throws everything he's got, including his famous Wolf Fang fist, but Goku blocks it all. It's an intense showdown. Goku even brings out his own special move, the rock, scissors, and paper technique. Who knew there was a trick to throwing a paper airplane? But just when the fight heats up, bam, Yamcha freaks out. Turns out the sight of Bulma standing around is too much for him. He's paralyzed with fear. Yep, our brave desert bandit is defeated not by Goku's awesome power, but by his crippling fear of women. Talk about anticlimactic. But hey, before he runs away, he does something pretty cool. He tells Goku that he's going to follow him and learn everything he can so he can come back and beat him someday. And that, my friends, is how Goku gets his very first rival, Yamcha, the desert bandit. But wait, there's more. This episode isn't just about epic fights and goofy characters. It's also a turning point for the series. Up until now, Dragon Ball has been all about Goku meeting new people, making friends, and having fun adventures. But with Yamcha, things change. We see a whole new side to Goku, a more serious, determined side, and we get a glimpse of the kind of challenges he'll face in the future. So, why is this episode so important? Well, for starters, it introduces us to Yamcha, a character who will become a recurring part of the Dragon Ball universe. Sure, he might be a bit of a coward and a pervert, but he's also a loyal friend and a skilled fighter. Plus, who could forget his amazing hair? But beyond Yamcha, this episode marks a shift in the tone of the series. From this point on, the stakes are higher, the battles are tougher, and the villains are more formidable. In fact, this episode is the last time we see Goku fight without any allies. For the rest of the series, he's never truly alone. Even when he's training or traveling, there's always someone by his side. And let's not forget the impact of this episode on Goku's character. Up until this point, he's been somewhat naive and innocent, but after facing off against Yamcha, he becomes more aware of the dangers that lie ahead. And he starts to take his training and his responsibilities more seriously. It's a subtle change, but it's an important one that sets the stage for Goku's growth as a hero. In conclusion, original Dragon Ball Episode 5, Yamcha the Desert Bandit, is a must-watch for any fan of the series. It's an action-packed, hilarious episode that not only introduces us to one of the most iconic characters in the Dragon Ball universe, but also sets the stage for the more serious challenges that lie ahead. So do yourself a favor and watch this episode. You won't regret it. Okay, now let's move on to Dragon Ball Daima Episode 5, Pansy. Picking up from last episode, our young demon Goku is hanging out with some new friends after saving the demon realm from a nasty surprise attack. They're traveling with the young demon girl whose name we just found out is Pansy, along with her grandpa, the ever-drunk Supreme Kai, and a grumpy old cat named Glorio. While Goku plays around with some nearby monkeys, the others decide to head over to the nearby castle where Pansy's dad, King Kadan, should be. But hold up. Before they leave, Goku shows off his amazing power by casually lifting a massive boulder above his head like it's nothing. But he's not done there. He spots a little girl carrying some huge gourds and goes over to help her out. The girl thanks him and reveals that she's headed to her home. Goku decides to follow her and sneak into her house by hiding in one of the gourds. And let me tell you, it's quite the entrance. Goku pops out, scaring the wits out of everyone inside. Turns out, this house belongs to some old friends of Goku's dad, Bardock, and it's not long before everyone's hyped up to see the legendary Saiyan warrior's son. One of the townspeople, a guy named Kolaya, even challenges Goku to a fight, but Goku declines, not wanting to cause trouble. After catching up with some old friends, it's time for Goku and the gang to hit the road again. But Pansy's grandpa, Supreme Kai, stops in his tracks. You see, he's had a few drinks and suddenly remembers something important. He turns back and heads to the mansion, while the rest of the group continues on to the Demon King castle. Upon arrival, Goku and the others are greeted by King Kadan, Pansy's dad, who looks exactly like his daughter, but with horns. He's not exactly thrilled about the intrusion and demands that they show him proof of their strength before even considering helping them. And who steps up to the plate? None other than Goku. He wastes no time and powers up, knocking out a bunch of the king's veteran warriors with ease. The king watches intently, impressed by Goku's raw power, but still not convinced. He wants more. Goku obliges and pushes himself further, even briefly transforming into a Super Saiyan to show off his full strength. Finally, the king is satisfied. He sees Goku's potential and agrees to help them out. He gives them a plane to travel to the lookout and sends one of his soldiers, Hybus, to Earth to guide the other Z fighters to the demon realm. But wait, there's more. Pansy, who's been tinkering with a bike the whole time, decides to join Goku's party. She's got some serious mechanical skills and is eager to put them to use. The episode ends with a bang as their new plane malfunctions due to Pansy's excessive luggage, causing them to crash land. Supreme Kai also expresses his suspicion about Glorio to Goku, noting that he's acting weird and his story doesn't add up. Could there be more to this grumpy old cat than meets the eye? Stay tuned to find out. And there you have it, folks. 2 Dragon Ball episodes, both titled Episode 5, both totally worth a watch. Which one's your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep watching and stay tuned for more Dragon Ball goodness. Dragon Ball Episode 6. The episode starts with our heroes traveling along a desert highway. There's not much else to say. They're just walking alongside this bus that Bulma has rented for their travels. And eventually it gets to be nighttime, and they have to set up camp. So they pull over in a nearby forest, and Goku is like, "Hey, let's sleep in the dragon box." But Bulma says, "No, no, no, you're not gonna sleep in my dragon box." She opens up the top and reveals that there is a capsule inside that Oolong can turn into a house for everyone to sleep in. And it's pretty roomy, too. It's got beds, it's got tables, it's got chairs, it's got curtains, it's got everything they could possibly need. And after everyone settles down, Bulma says, "Well, I guess it's time for a shower." And she heads off to take a shower. Now, while she is in the shower, Goku and Oolong are sitting at the table talking about how awesome the Dragon Balls are and what they would wish for if they had them. And Oolong is really struggling with this question. He doesn't know what to wish for. Like, what would he wish for? Goku tells him that if you don't think of something good right when you get your wish, whatever you wish for will disappear. You know, it'll go poof and you'll be left with nothing. And he uses the example of someone wishing to become the richest man in the world, only to find out that they'd rather be the second richest man in the world, you know? Because then they'd have someone to compete with, and they wouldn't be alone. And Oolong is like, oh, well, I guess I won't be asking for anything. He puts his head down on the table. Meanwhile, outside, Emperor Pilaf's two minions, Shu and Mai, are looking through the windows trying to figure out a way to steal the Dragon Balls. Shu grabs a big sack of explosives and heads over to the front of the bus and is like, all right, I'm just gonna glue this to the bottom of the bus, you know, and wait until they take off in the morning, and then boom, Dragon Balls will be blown sky high. He puts the explosives underneath the bus, and as he is about to light the fuse, he gets impatient and is like, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna blow up the damn bus right now. So he throws the lighter into the gas, and immediately his hand catches on fire. He drops the lighter, rolls around on the ground to put out his flames, and when he looks back at the bus, he sees that the Dragon Balls are actually being kept underneath the bus in a small car that Bulma was driving earlier. So he sneaks around to the other side, puts another bag of explosives under that car, lights the fuse, and then he and Mai run off into the bushes. The next morning, everyone wakes up and is ready to continue their search for the Dragon Balls. And Bulma comes out of her little tent thing and she's wearing this really cool pink bathrobe. Yamcha is hiding in the bushes watching them, and he's with Puar. And Puar says, wow, she sure is beautiful, isn't she? And Puar asks him, hey, what would you do if you were suddenly faced with the opportunity to confess your undying love to her? And Yamcha says, me? Oh, I wouldn't, I'd probably just tell her how much I appreciate her beauty and how she means a lot to me, and then maybe we could hold hands or something. And Yamcha is like, well, you know, I've been thinking about this lately. See, I have a terrible problem. I get extremely nervous around girls, and then I end up scaring them off before I even get a chance to get to know them. If I could just wish to be normal around women, then I would finally be able to find my perfect girl. And Puar says, ah, I see, so like a cowardly wish. And Yamcha is like, well, yeah, but hey, wishes are wishes. Am I right? Suddenly, Goku calls out, hey, someone was here last night. Look at these footprints. Puar says, don't worry, Goku. I'm sure whoever it was has already left. Goku shrugs, and the two of them head off to look for the Dragon Balls. Meanwhile, Yamcha is peeping from behind his rock, and he watches them leave, and he thinks to himself, now's my chance. He creeps closer to the Dragon Box, takes a deep breath, and is about to make his move when suddenly he glances over and sees Bulma in the shower again. He screams and runs off, falling flat on his face. What the hell? What the hell just happened? He looks back and sees that the door to the bathroom was wide open and he was just having a bit of déjà vu. He creeps back towards the Dragon Ball box, reaches inside and takes one of the Dragon Balls. When he does this, Goku turns around and is like, hey, what are you doing? Yamcha screams again and runs off, dropping the Dragon Ball as he goes. Goku bends down to pick it up and he says, geez, whoever you are, you must really want those Dragon Balls. Back at the Dragon Box, Oolong is stirring up a pot of tea, but he's really putting sleepy grass in Goku and Bulma's tea. He's planning on drugging them so that he can steal the Dragon Balls. He serves the tea to Goku and Bulma. Goku says, thanks, Oolong, and he pours the tea into his cup, takes a big gulp and says, man, this stuff is strong. I feel like I might fall asleep soon. And Oolong is like, yep, that's how it works. And Goku lays his head down on the table. Man, I feel so tired. Oolong looks over at Bulma, who is starting to get drowsy as well. He takes a few more steps towards her and he thinks to himself, this is it, my time to shine. And Yamcha is like, gotcha. He grabs the Dragon Ball out of Goku's hand and is about to grab another one when Oolong transforms into this chubby woman and knocks him out cold. Yamcha wakes up and he's strapped to a chair. He sees that Goku is also tied up. And Oolong walks up to him and says, Well, well, well. Looks like we have a situation here. Yamcha struggles against his bindings and says, "Let me go, you pervert. You probably only wanted to tie me up to peek at Bulma's underwear." Oolong says, "Huh? What? No, I was trying to see if you were a bad guy or not. Turns out you are a bad guy." Yamcha struggles against his bonds. "Let me go, you pervert." Oolong thinks to himself, "Wait, why does this fat woman look so familiar?" And then he looks at Yamcha and says, "Wait a minute, you're that skinny guy from earlier, aren't you?" Yamcha unmasks and is like, "Oh, it's you. You're the perv who tried to peek at Bulma's panties. Let me go." Oolong pulls his mask back up. "You guys both need to calm down. You're acting like a couple of perverts yourselves." Suddenly, the room starts to shake, and the door to the dragon box opens, and Shu and Mai walk in and say, "Sorry we're late, boss." And Oolong says, "I'm not your boss, you stupid monkey. Why did you come in here?" Shu and Mai look around the room, and Mai says, "Uh-oh, looks like this party's over." Shu laughs and says, "Yeah, it sure is." He pulls out a detonator and is about to press the button when Goku shoots a Kamehameha at him. Shu presses the button and the bomb explodes. Rocks and dirt fill the air, and when it clears, Shu and Mai are gone. Goku turns to Yamcha and says, "Hey, you want to spar a little?" The two of them start fighting, and Goku sends a devastating Kamehameha at Yamcha's face, knocking him out cold. Yamcha wakes up and spits out blood. One of his front teeth is knocked clean out. He wipes the blood off his mouth and mutters to himself, "Next time I'm gonna train a bit harder." He runs off, and Goku calls out, "Hey, where are you going? We're not done playing yet." Goku looks over at the dragon box and sees that the door is wide open and Bulma is nowhere to be found. He drops down to his level and says, "Oh no, what happened to her?" Suddenly, Pilaf appears and says, "Looking for this?" He holds up the Dragon Ball that Bulma was keeping. Goku is furious and shoots a Kamehameha at Pilaf, but he dodges it and disappears in a puff of smoke. Goku throws his hands up in the air in frustration and says, "Damn it." Later on, we see that Yamcha has followed the group and he's parked his car a safe distance away. He says to himself, "Okay, plan in action. I'll let them find all 7 Dragon Balls, and then I'll show up and make my wish." Perfect. And that's the end of episode 6. What do you guys think? Do you like Yamcha? It advanced the plot, gave us some great comedy, and introduced Yamcha's biggest character flaw, which is going to play a huge part in the series moving forward. His interactions with Puar in this episode were hilarious. I also liked seeing Goku and Yamcha fight each other again. That was a blast from the past, and Oolong, well, he's still as perverted as ever. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dragon Ball. Today we're going to cover episode 7, which is called the Ox King's Challenge. We've got a lot to go over, so let's get right into it. Our story picks up with Goku, Bulma, and Oolong still in the car that Yamcha left for them. And I guess that brings us to our first little piece of continuity, something that the show didn't really make a big deal of, but if you're paying attention, you might have noticed. Anyway, Yamcha and Puar are actually still following them in their own car, trying to sneak up and steal the Dragon Balls while they sleep. But Goku's driving is a bit too erratic for them to fall asleep, so they just end up trailing them all day long. They reach the bottom of Fire Mountain, where the Dragon Ball is supposed to be, and Bulma is excited because she thinks that they finally have a chance to get the Dragon Ball. But as they get closer to the top of the mountain, Goku notices a massive fire raging around it, and it looks like the Dragon Ball might be in some danger. Just then, suddenly, here comes Chi-Chi flying in on a cloud. She's wearing a helmet and goggles and swinging an axe, and she looks pretty fierce. She flies right past them and crashes down on the ground nearby. And the 3 friends run over to see if she's okay, and she freaks out because she thinks that Goku is some kind of monster, and she pulls out her axe and tries to hit him with it. But Goku, being as naive as he is, just ducks under it and dodges it easily. Chi-Chi continues to attack him, but she's not very good at this, and she keeps missing attack after attack. And when she takes a moment to catch her breath, Goku asks her why she's attacking him. and she responds by throwing an egg at his head. It cracks open on his forehead, and he just kind of rubs it off and asks her if that was an attack. And she confirms it was, and he says, "Well, that was a pretty bad one. But I don't think you're very good at fighting." Then she yells at him that she doesn't want to fight him, and she just wants to know who he is and where he came from. So he tells her that he's looking for the Dragon Balls, and she tells him that so is she. That's why she was attacking him. She thought that he was a monster who had come to steal the Dragon Ball from her. But when Goku says that he wants to get the Dragon Ball in order to wish for more delicious food, she finds this very cute and decides to drop the whole animosity thing, and she invites them to go look for the Dragon Ball together. Bulma is not happy about this, though, and she tells Goku that he shouldn't trust her. But Chi-Chi gets mad and asks what she's saying, and Bulma just tells her never mind. Then Chi-Chi asks if they could hurry it up and find the Dragon Ball. She needs her father to use his power to put out the fire. Her dad is the Ox King, and the fire has blocked the path up the mountain, preventing her from reaching him. Then Goku asks, "So you need your daddy to put out the fire?" And she responds, "No, it's none of your business." And she walks away again, and Goku follows after her. And she stops and turns to him and says, "Hey, do you think I'm pretty?" And he says, "Yeah, sure, whatever," and she blushes and runs off again. This is obviously pretty awkward for Goku, and he asks Oolong if maybe he should have just left her there. And Oolong tells him no, she probably just wants some company. Then Chi-Chi suddenly reappears again, and she asks Goku, "Would you marry me?" And he responds, "Sure." And she blushes and runs off again. And this time, Bulma can't help but ask, "What was that all about?" And Goku shrugs and says, "I don't know. I thought she was going to ask me where I wanted to go for dinner." As they continue up the mountain, Goku asks Chi-Chi where her father lives, and she points up ahead and says, "Right there." But as they get closer, Goku notices that there's no way through all of those flames. And Chi-Chi becomes very worried that her father might be in danger. And just then, out of the corner of her eye, she spots someone standing on top of a rock. He's massive, and he's got horns on his head, and he looks exactly like a giant ox. And Goku and the others look over and notice him too, and they all run over to say hello. The Ox King demands to know who they are and what they're doing on his mountain. And Chi-Chi tells him that they were just trying to find the Dragon Ball. And she asks him if he knows anything about it. And he says, yeah, he does. He has it right here. And he opens up his robe to reveal the Dragon Ball. But Goku jumps in front of him and tries to grab it, and the Ox King knocks him away with ease. Then he tells them that they have to leave his mountain right now. He doesn't want any more intruders, but Chi-Chi begs her father to listen to what these people have to say, and he reluctantly agrees. So Goku tells him that he was hoping to get the Dragon Ball in order to wish for more food. And the Ox King asks, "Oh, so you're just some greedy punk who came here to steal my Dragon Ball?" And Goku tells him that that's not true. He just wants more food. But the Ox King doesn't believe him. And he tells them that they have to leave. Now if they don't leave, he'll throw them all into his volcano. But Chi-Chi stands in front of him and says, "Stop it." And he asks her, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I want to hear him out." And Goku tells them that he's telling the truth. If he wanted to take the Dragon Ball, he already could have. He could have gotten it while the Ox King was sleeping, but the Ox King tells them that that doesn't change the fact that they're intruders. And he throws Goku into the volcano, but Goku's tail grabs onto the side and he hangs on for dear life. And he pulls himself up and he grabs onto the Ox King's leg and he won't let go. And Goku asks him, "Please, can I have the Dragon Ball?" And the Ox King asks, "Who gave you permission to touch me?" And he kicks Goku away, but Goku just lands on his feet. And he asks him again, "Pretty please? Can I have it? Please? 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 Please?" And the Ox King is stunned by how strong Goku is. He tells them that he needs the Dragon Ball to put out the fire on his mountain, and he asks if they can help him with that. And the Ox King tells him that only his old master, Master Roshi, has a fan that can put out the fire, and he hands them this over here. It's called the Basho fan, and it's capable of extinguishing even the biggest flames. But the problem is, he hasn't seen his master in a long time, and he's not even sure if he's still alive. Goku asks, "Well, where is he now?" And the Ox King tells them that he lives on a small island far to the south. So Goku asks, "Well, then that's easy. I'll just go get it." And he volunteers to go get the fan for them. Chi-Chi tells him, "No, you don't understand. The journey there is incredibly dangerous. There are wild animals and deadly cliffs and crazy storms. No one has ever been able to cross that ocean and come back." Goku tells her, "Oh no, that sounds fun." And he tells the Ox King that he'll bring the fan back in just 3 days. And the Ox King tells him, "Kid, you're in for a world of pain. You'll never be able to do it." Meanwhile, in Yamcha's car, Puar asks, "Wow, that Ox King is really strong." Yamcha tells him, "Yeah, that guy's tough, but I bet I could beat him." And Puar asks, "You could beat that guy?" Ha ha ha. Yamcha tells him, "Yeah, I could too. We'll see about that." And as Goku flies away on the flying Nimbus, Yamcha tells himself, "I'll show that Ox King what it's like to mess with the wrong guys." And that's it for episode 7. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Dragon Ball. Today we're going to be recapping episode 8, which is titled The Kamehameha Wave. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. The episode starts off with Goku flying on the flying Nimbus towards Master Roshi's island. We pan over to Master Roshi, who is in his tiny little house on his bed. There are lots of half-naked women surrounding him, and he seems to be enjoying it. Goku gets close to the small, isolated island where Roshi lives in his tiny house, and he immediately goes outside to see who's there. He finds an old man relaxing outside and says hello. Master Roshi looks over and sees Goku, and then tells him to wait a second while he turns to address the large sea turtle who is beside him. The turtle tells Roshi that he's lost his way from the ocean, and that he's sorry. Roshi reassures him that it's all right, and tells him not to blame himself. Then he looks back to Goku and asks him for a favor. Roshi asks Goku to do something nice for the turtle and take him back to the sea. Goku agrees and flies off with the turtle. Meanwhile, back on the island, Roshi calls out to his pet turtle, who runs inside to grab him something. Roshi returns to his bed with a bunch of young women. They all seem happy to see him again. Goku arrives back at the edge of the island and sets the turtle down. As a thank you for saving his life, the turtle gives Master Roshi a gift, which is a beautiful, shimmering seashell. Roshi opens it up and smiles. He then pulls out a folded piece of paper and reads what's written on it. After finishing, Roshi looks over at Goku and tells him that he has something that belongs to him. He says that if Goku extinguishes the fire on top of Fire Mountain, he will give him the Basho fan. Goku happily accepts this offer and grabs the Basho fan. Roshi tells him that it may look like just an ordinary folding fan, but it's actually far from it. As soon as Goku leaves the island, Bulma and Oolong arrive. Bulma had tracked Goku here after hearing that he went to visit Master Roshi. She's been wanting to meet him for a long time, given his legendary status. But as soon as she steps onto the island, Roshi addresses her and tries to grab her chest. She slaps him and tells him that he's disgusting. Oolong quickly hides behind Goku, who is standing off to the side, having witnessed everything. Bulma tells Roshi that if he lays a hand on her again, she will never forgive him. Roshi tells her to calm down and that he didn't mean it. He then explains that he was merely trying to feel her ample bosom. Everyone stands in silence for a moment. Then Oolong speaks up and asks how they are going to put out the fire on top of Fire Mountain. Roshi tells them that he knows a way, but he lost the item that he needed to do it. Goku says that he already has it, and he pulls the Basho fan out of his bag. Roshi looks over and sees that it's damaged, and he tells Goku that it's too late. Bulma asks what he means by that, and Roshi tells her that he lost the fan many years ago. With the Basho fan out of the picture, Roshi tells them that he has another option. He says that he possesses a powerful energy technique called the Kamehameha Wave, or Turtle Devastation Wave. He explains that by gathering his energy, he can release an immense amount of power from his hands. Goku is surprised to hear that he could simply use his hands to destroy the mountain. Roshi tells them that he's very interested in seeing if the fan can withstand the force. Goku steps forward and tells Roshi to go ahead. Roshi closes his eyes, raises both of his hands, and charges up a tremendous amount of energy. The wind picks up around him, and his clothes begin to blow wildly. After powering up for a few moments, he releases a massive energy blast that completely destroys his entire house and the small island it sits on. A giant crater is left behind, and Goku and the others are blown away by the force of the blast. Back at the beach, Roshi regains his senses and looks around to see that his house and island are gone. He becomes upset and tells Goku that he wanted to keep that island just a little bit longer. Goku tells Roshi that he can rebuild the island using the Dragon Balls. Roshi looks over at Goku and tells him that he wants to teach him something. Goku replies that he'd love to learn something from him, and Roshi says that he'll show him how to do the Kamehameha. After explaining how to do the move, Goku does his best to imitate Roshi. He closes his eyes, raises both of his hands, and attempts to release a Kamehameha wave. A small, weak version of the attack comes out of his hands. Everyone is shocked to see that Goku learned the move after just one attempt. Even Roshi is amazed. He tells Goku that it usually takes years of training to be able to use it. Roshi looks over at Goku and tells him that he has a lot of potential, but he must train hard if he wants to become strong. Goku says that he won't let him down, and Roshi tells him that he better not. Everyone begins heading towards Fire Mountain. Bulma points out that Master Roshi is sitting on the turtle, and that he should be the one carrying Goku instead. Roshi tells her that he doesn't want Goku getting the wrong idea about him. They arrive at Fire Mountain, where the Ox King and Chi-Chi are waiting for them. Master Roshi tells everyone that he'll handle this, and to leave it to him. He climbs to the top of the mountain and prepares to extinguish the fire. The Ox King and Chi-Chi watch anxiously. Roshi tells them that he needs everyone's energy and focuses. He closes his eyes, raises both of his hands, and fires a massive Kamehameha wave. The blast is so immense that it not only extinguishes the fire, but also completely obliterates the mountain itself, leaving a perfectly flat, charred landscape. Everyone watches in awe as the dust and debris settle down. Suddenly, the Dragon Ball that was hidden on Fire Mountain is revealed. It's lying on the ground amidst the mess. The Ox King and Chi-Chi are shocked to see that the mountain is gone, and the Dragon Ball is in their possession. We pan over to Yamcha and Puar, who are still observing from afar. Yamcha tells Puar that there's no way he can defeat someone as powerful as Master Roshi. He says that even if he tried, he would just end up getting crushed. Puar sadly replies that he understands. Yamcha thinks for a moment and then tells Puar that he has a new plan. He says that he can't possibly take on Master Roshi, but maybe he can try and steal the Dragon Balls when they are all gathered. Puar asks if he's really sure about this, but Yamcha tells him that there's no other choice. As the group heads on, Goku flies in front of everyone. He's smiling and seems very happy. Bulma notices this and asks why he's so cheerful. Goku tells her that he's looking forward to facing some strong opponents. Bulma is taken aback by this, and she tells him that he shouldn't think like that. She explains that it's bad enough that they're searching for the Dragon Balls. But if word gets out that Goku can use the Kamehameha, they might be targeted by someone else trying to obtain it. Goku listens to what she's saying and tells her that he'll be careful. Bulma replies that she hopes he will be, but she doesn't believe him. She tells him that he probably won't listen to her anyway, so she's not going to bother saying anything else. Yamcha and Puar are watching them from afar, and they are plotting to steal the Dragon Balls. Puar asks Yamcha if this is really a good idea, but Yamcha tells him that they don't have a choice. He says that if they don't do something, they'll never get their wish. Puar sadly replies that he understands. As the episode comes to an end, Yamcha tells Puar that it's time to put his plan into action. He says that he's counting on him. Puar nods his head and transforms into a tiger. Yamcha hops onto his back and they disappear into the trees. And that's a wrap for episode 8 of Dragon Ball. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. Until next time, take care. Hey guys, it's me here, and today I'm gonna do a Dragon Ball Episode 9 full recap. Let's do it. So last time we saw Goku, Bulma, Oolong, and Master Roshi had just escaped the collapsing fire mountain, and now they're traveling together, looking for more Dragon Balls. Along the way, they stumble upon what seems to be a normal village, but when Goku asks why there aren't any people outside, suddenly some shady characters appear and kidnap a couple villagers. And so this episode is called The Boss Rabbit's Special Technique. As the kidnappers retreat into town, Goku asks if they should go after them, but Master Roshi thinks it's best not to cause a fuss. Instead, they decide to take a break and relax, except for Goku, who wants to find the Dragon Balls first. And as he walks away, we pan to a close-up of Master Roshi's rear end as he does some forward rolls. Oh, and did I mention that Turtle is with them now? Yeah, so he's doing those forward rolls with Master Roshi. Anyways, Goku finds an old abandoned house and figures he can meditate on top of it until everyone else is ready. Then, while Bulma is busy examining some nearby machinery, a man pops out of nowhere and scares the living crap out of her. It's actually the leader of the kidnapping gang, though, and he gives Bulma 2 options: become his slave or die. Well, Goku appears just in time to save the day and knock the guy out with a well-placed kick, but then the other members of the gang show up and block his path. There's 4 of them, each with animal-themed outfits and masks. We have a wolf, a tiger, a snake, and the rabbit, who is actually the leader. So they surround Goku, but he's not scared at all. He simply asks if they mind if he passes and tries to walk right through them, but the rabbit stops him. And as he does, the rabbit speaks. He introduces himself and his gang as the Rabbit Mob and says that Goku won't be going anywhere. The tiger grabs Goku and tries to punch him, but he blocks the attack and sends the tiger flying with a single kick. The snake attacks next, but he's no match for Goku either. In fact, Goku barely even has to move to dodge his attacks. It's like he's playing dodgeball. Then the wolf jumps into action, but he doesn't attack Goku. Instead, he tells the others to stop and introduces himself as the doctor. He says that it'd be pointless to fight Goku because he's stronger than them, but Goku actually disagrees. He says he's not strong at all, and that the only reason he was able to defeat the others was because they weren't trying to seriously fight him. But the rabbit doesn't want to hear it. He's fed up with how much trouble Goku's causing and decides to finish things off by turning him into a carrot. What? So as soon as he touches Goku, Goku turns into a carrot. So yeah, that's what happens. That's his special technique. You get turned into a carrot. Great. But wait a minute, didn't he just say that it would be pointless to fight Goku because he's stronger than them? I thought he knew that Goku was stronger than him. Guess not. Anyways, Goku is still a carrot. Bulma says that he must have used all of his energy to transform Goku, and now he's too tired to touch anyone else. So she and the others escape and leave Goku behind. Now, Oolong and Master Roshi are terrified about what's happened to Goku. Bulma, however, is certain that he'll be fine and wants to keep searching for more Dragon Balls. Master Roshi agrees, but says they should probably find somewhere else to hide for the night. As they look around, Bulma sees some nice-looking cliffs that she thinks would be perfect for making camp. Master Roshi and Oolong think it's a great spot too, but before they know it, the ground starts rumbling and a giant drill head emerges from the dirt. Holy crap. It's the rabbit. He's come back for revenge. Bulma hides behind a rock and watches as the rabbit approaches Goku. He taunts him by saying that he'll be turned into rabbit food, and then he tries to hit Goku with a pair of giant shears. Goku may be a carrot, but he's still somehow aware of his surroundings. He moves just enough to avoid getting squished, and the rabbit gets frustrated. He keeps attacking, but Goku keeps dodging. Well, Goku's tail is sticking out from under his body, and it just so happens to wrap around the rabbit's foot. The rabbit pulls his foot back, but it's too late. The tail wraps around his whole body and yanks him off his feet. Then the tail whips around and smacks him in the face. Wow. Now the rabbit's nose is bleeding and he's furious. He bites down on Goku's tail, but it doesn't do anything. Goku is still a carrot, remember? So the rabbit's teeth just end up breaking. Dang it. The rabbit runs off and Goku chases after him, so Goku may be stuck in his carrot form, but he can still move and apparently chew bubble gum. What? How? I don't know. Back at the cliff, Bulma, Master Roshi, and Oolong are watching from afar as Goku chases the rabbit. Oolong is crying, afraid that Goku might turn into a carrot forever, but then he gets an idea. If Goku is stuck in his carrot form, then maybe the opposite of that form would be useful, so he pulls out a pocket knife and begins shaving off some of Goku's carrot body. Hey, I hope that doesn't hurt. At first nothing happens, but eventually Goku's shirt starts coming back. Next, his hair reappears, and finally his eyes return. He's back to normal. Yay. Meanwhile, the rabbit is cornered and offers to let Goku join the rabbit mob if he spares his life. But Goku refuses and says that instead, he's going to hit the rabbit with his power pole. Whoa! Wait, where did that come from? The rabbit freaks out when he sees the power pole and tries to run away, but Goku hits him with the pole anyways. He doesn't actually touch him, though. Instead, he whacks the pole against the ground behind him, sending vibrations up his spine and launching him into the air. Ha ha! Then Goku brings out his Nimbus cloud and rides it over to the rabbit. He extends his power pole and swings it one last time, this time hitting the rabbit and sending him flying away into the distance. Finally, Goku gets rid of him for good. Bulma and the others cheer when they see Goku return. They were worried about what would happen if he stayed as a carrot, but thankfully he's back now. And so they continue their search for the remaining Dragon Balls. That's it for this episode. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it? The Rabbit Mob was definitely a unique bunch of opponents, but it looks like Goku's got his hands full with even weirder characters. As for Yamcha, he and Puar are still following Goku and the gang from a distance. They watched everything happen, but I doubt Goku even noticed. Anyways, Yamcha is amazed by the incredible strength and wacky abilities of Goku. He's starting to realize that he's in for a real challenge when they meet up again. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to check out my full playthrough playlist. That's where I put every single Dragon Ball video I make. I also post regular DBZ videos there too. And of course, if you want to keep watching, the next video I'd recommend is my Dragon Ball episode 10, 11, and 12 review. Those 3 episodes are the start of the Pilaf saga, and it's pretty exciting stuff, so thanks again for watching. Until next time, stay tuned. What's up? It's me. And Dragon Ball Episode 10, The Dragon Balls Are Stolen, is a pivotal moment in the series. It's a turning point because up until this point, we haven't had a real threat. Sure, there have been bad guys, but they were easily dispatched. But here, the main antagonist, Emperor Pilaf, finally makes his move and actually succeeds in stealing the Dragon Balls from the heroes. So let's talk about it. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. I never would have imagined that this channel would have reached the heights that it has. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Also, if you're not already, consider following for more content. As usual, this is not a full breakdown or critique of the episode, but rather a summary and a little commentary from someone who really enjoys Dragon Ball. This is going to have spoilers for the episode, so if you haven't watched it, don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, let's do this. The episode starts off with a bang. We immediately see Goku and company on the road again. We also see Yamcha and Puar following them. This time, Bulma says that the Dragon Radar is picking up the last Dragon Ball needed in a remote place. They decide to split up to search for it. Bulma tells Goku that she wants to go find it herself, but really she's just trying to hide her panties from him. Meanwhile, inside the castle, Pilaf is growing impatient. He says that he doesn't care if they have to tear down the mountain to find the last Dragon Ball. His henchmen, Shu and Mai, are frantically working to repair their dragon radar and prepare their machines. Pilaf threatens them with his pet alligators if they fail. Time is running out, and Pilaf is losing patience. Back with the heroes, Oolong questions Bulma about what she would wish for if they were to find all of the Dragon Balls. Bulma candidly admits that she wants a handsome boyfriend, which greatly annoys Oolong, who has been risking his life for such a frivolous wish. Oolong, of course, dreams of more materialistic wishes like riches. This scene is funny because it shows how different these two characters are. They're both looking for love, but in very different ways. Oolong wants to buy love, while Bulma wants love to happen naturally. Speaking of Yamcha, he and Puar are still shadowing the group in their own vehicle. Yamcha is still determined to get the Dragon Balls to fulfill his wish to become less shy around women. So far, he hasn't made a move because he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. But he's patient, and he knows that his time will come. The group decides to take a break and camp out for the night. Bulma sets up her dragon radar to see if she can pick up any signals. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Mai and Shu in their mechanical suit, the Pilaf machine, appear and attack. They shoot energy blasts at the group and easily defeat them. They then proceed to snatch Bulma's capsule containing all the Dragon Balls that they've collected so far and escape. Goku tries to pursue them, but ends up comically battling an empty shell of the machine. Bulma is furious that they've lost the Dragon Balls and vows revenge, but Yamcha steps up and offers to help them get them back. He gives them a ride to Pilaf's castle, still with the ulterior motive of getting the Dragon Balls for himself. Bulma, needing to check the radar, asks Yamcha to close his eyes. He thinks that she's going to kiss him and is too scared to do anything. Awkward but humorous moment ensues. When they arrive, Pilaf is overjoyed at having all but one of the Dragon Balls and gloats about his imminent world domination. He reveals that he knew they would bring him the Dragon Balls and had set a trap for them. He activates the first of many ridiculous traps, which crushes them in a pillar. But Yamcha pushes Bulma out of the way and takes the hit. The crushing pressure nearly kills him, but he survives, and Bulma is grateful. So far, Yamcha has shown that he's brave, loyal, and perhaps even a little bit selfless. The episode then cuts to Pilaf watching the group through a monitor, and he laughs at their impending doom. He knows that he has them trapped and will soon acquire the final Dragon Ball and make his wish. Pilaf's traps continue, and the group barely manages to avoid being crushed to death. They finally reach what appears to be a dead end. Bulma is annoyed that they can't seem to get past this final door, but Yamcha steps up and pushes it open. On the other side is a dark and narrow passage. Goku, worried for Bulma's safety, insists on walking ahead of her. However, when they move forward, the walls begin to close in, trapping them in a crushing room. Pilaf watches as the heroes are trapped, and he knows that he has them cornered. He feels that his wish is within reach, and he can't help but gloat. The episode ends with the heroes seemingly trapped and facing certain doom, leaving their fate and the fate of the Dragon Balls uncertain. This episode is significant because it moves the plot forward. Up until this point, the story has been relatively light-hearted with Goku and company easily defeating any threat that stands in their way. However, the stakes are raised in this episode as the Dragon Balls are stolen and the main antagonist, Emperor Pilaf, is now in a position to make his move. This change of pace keeps the audience on their toes and makes for a more exciting story. Yamcha is a character that has been mostly sidelined in the series so far, but he begins to show his worth in this episode. He's shown to be brave, loyal, and even selfless at times. Despite his cowardice, he has a good heart and is willing to put his own safety on the line to help others. He's also shown to have feelings for Bulma, although he's too afraid to act on them. Another interesting aspect of this episode is the focus on Bulma's character. She's not just the damsel in distress that needs to be saved by Goku. Instead, she's a strong and independent young woman who's more than capable of taking care of herself. She's also shown to be selfless, as seen when she puts herself in danger to protect the Dragon Balls. Overall, this was a great episode that shook things up and set the stage for an even more exciting story. I can't wait to see how the heroes escape this latest predicament and what their next adventure will be. If you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know in the comments. This has been your host. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.